I'm really lucky and I get to review kit a lot of the time and of course make videos for adventures at Aperture. And that's great, but now and again, a bit of kit comes along that is a real game changer. And that's what I'm testing today. This new lens, the 150 to 600 from OMSystem, translates to a 300 to 1200mm telephoto lens. Absolutely amazing. This lens has the potential to completely change wildlife photography. Now, that's a big call. Is it going to back it up? Well, I'm here at a wildlife park today to test it out and see what images we can capture. It's really flooded. We've had some huge rains over the last few weeks. So I've got the wellies on. It's cold, but it's sunny. So let's go and test this lens and see what it can do. Welcome to Adventures in Aperture. Who will this lens appeal to? Well, given its focal length, wildlife photographers are its prime market. I mean, just imagine having 1200mm at your disposal when you're shooting smaller subjects like birds or skittish subjects like deer that will race off even if you get a little bit close. Now, it's a game changer lens for sure, and having that extra focal length just at the twist of a barrel is an amazing thing to have at your disposal. Absolutely brilliant. It still blows my mind that Olympus can create a lens that gives you 300 to 1200mm of focal length just by twisting the barrel. Now, one of the things I should point out is when you do twist the lens, it does extend the length of the lens. The barrel comes out, which isn't a huge problem, but won't be to everybody's liking. So let's take a moment to have a little walk around of the lens. And it is a bit big and a bit bulky. In fact, it's much bulkier than the 100 to 400 I'm used to using with my OM1. That's alright though, because the extra focal length justifies that, but I think OMSystem is on the edge of pushing things a little bit too far. Any heavier than this, and you've got to question yourself, well, why wouldn't I go for a full frame system? Because the beauty, of course, of Micro Four Thirds is that it's small, it's light. Don't get me wrong, if you had a 1200mm equivalent lens for a Canon or full frame Nikon, it would be huge. So it is small, but it's just on the edge of being a little bit too heavy. You've got a focus limiter, so you can put it to full 10 meters to infinity or 2.8 meters to 10 meters. You've got an AF MF switch, and of course you've got image stabilizing, which you can switch on and off. The focus and zoom rings are nice and wide, so you can get a good grip on the textured rubber there. And of course there's function buttons on the side here as well. So all in all, you'll get a lot for your money. And of course it's got the tripod collar, so you can either fit it into your tripod, or you can put it onto a monopod via the screw thread here. Of course you can turn the tripod collar around as well if you're working in portrait format. The build of the lens is really impressive, and I have no problem taking this out and using it in harsh conditions. I've been really lucky enough to use this lens for around a month now. I got it really early, so thanks to Olympus for sorting me out with that. So I've had a good chance to use it, and the one thing that does scare me a little bit about this lens is the size of the element at the front. Now, using this without a UV filter just scares me because it's a big bit of glass and I wouldn't want this to get scratched at the front. So I think the first thing I would do if I spend the money on the lens is buy a UV filter to screw in and just protect that piece of glass, because if you break that, you're in real trouble. On top of wildlife photographers, travel photographers and sports photographers will take an interest in this lens too. But because it's a variable aperture lens, f5 to 6.3, it's not the fastest lens. I think if you were an OMSystem or Micro Four Thirds user, maybe you have a Panasonic as well, a better choice for sports photography, for example, is the 300 f4. Faster aperture, prime lens, fits that market a little bit better. Now, one other audience that I perhaps haven't considered before is astrophotographers. Just imagine zooming in on the moon when it's that time of, the celestial month, and you can zoom into 1200mm and get some incredible images of the moon with this on a tripod, I think, as well. You wouldn't want to be moving it about. One final area I want to cover is video. Now, I shoot a lot of video, of course. I film my vlogs as well, but I also shoot a lot of video day to day for my day job. And I tried a lot of tests with this lens, shooting video at 1200mm handheld. Now, the image stabilization does an amazing job, and it is quite weird how you can get steady footage at such a zoomed in focal length. So why don't we take a look at some of the footage I captured, and you can decide for yourself just how good a job this lens does. Now, I mentioned earlier the weight of the lens. It's one of the heaviest OMSystem lenses going. But if you're in a photography hide like I am today, it's not so much of a problem. You can lean the lens on the ledge, or you can bring a monopod or a sort of, pillow to rest the lens on. The weight of the lens, it's not so much a problem anymore, and you can just enjoy resting the lens and getting on with your photography. It's balanced quite neatly. It's not top heavy, front heavy, and that is good, because if you're always sort of counterbalancing the lens using your wrists and using your arms, you're going to get a bit tired after a long session in the hide, but that really isn't a problem. Now, one of the things that I really wanted to capture today was a kingfisher. This hide is well known in the area for giving photographers a good chance of capturing. Sorry, I had to stop there and shoot this robin. I'll show you that image on screen now. Yeah, I was hoping to capture the kingfisher today, but I don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately. It's a very rare visitor, and you have to be very lucky to capture it. But we've got some good images, lots of nice birds, lots of squirrels today as well, which is quite a surprise. And the light, the winter light, is just absolutely perfect. So I'm going to crack on, take some more pictures, and I will show you some more images on screen now. So, what's my verdict on the OMSystem 150-600mm lens? Well, as I've said throughout this video, this lens really is a game changer. Lenses like this don't come along often, and it's great to see companies like OMSystem really push the boundaries of what's possible with such a small lens and how to get that extra focal length. Will this lens be for everybody? Well, possibly not. If you're a Micro Four Thirds user shooting Panasonic or OMSystem, you probably can get by using the 100-400, which gives an effective focal length, of course, of 200-800. But if you are a wildlife photographer and you shoot particularly birds, this is an incredible tool to have at your disposal. The extra focal length, up to 1200mm effective focal length, is absolutely a game changer. It opens new creative doors, and it allows you to get shots that you previously wouldn't get. I think I'm probably going to have to keep this lens. I'm going to have to save up some money and spend it, because once you've used a lens like this, it's really hard to go back to shorter focal lengths, especially if you're out and about and you see a wildlife subject that you want to capture. Knowing that you have that focal length within your arsenal, it's a brilliant thing. But what do you think about the 150-600? I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts in the comments. And as ever, please like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.